Well, welcome everybody to this fantastic Q&A. I haven't seen a lot of you for a while. Exciting things going on over here with the Cardio Miracle Company, with wonderful praise reports, fantastic movement. And my co-host today is Mr. David. Hi, David. How are you?
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Fantastic. Well, we're so excited to have all of our Cardio Miracle family on here. Let's visit a little bit about the event that you just got back with in New York. How was it, David?
Oh, it was a good event. It was a new life event. A lot of holistic healers and holistic practitioners. Met a lot of different doctors and different types of doctors, and then just a lot of regular people who needed help.
Oh, that's
So,
fantastic. Thank you so much. And Dr. Avery Jackson was there, and of course, John Hewlett. And tell everybody a little bit about the Product of the Year Award. Oh my
yeah, we
goodness,
won.
it's amazing.
Yes, we won the top doctor of the year, product of the year, Cardio Miracle. So it's amazing. He got an award. It was a nice sculpture. It wasn't just a regular like award. It was an actual sculpture done by an artist. So it's pretty cool.
You know what? That says a lot. We've all been in the beginning of something. We've had some experiences, I'm sure, with different things that we have been a part of the startup. And look at where we are today. You know, who would have thought all those years ago when John Hewlett put together this fantastic product that he would be receiving Product of the Year award, he'd be affecting thousands and thousands of people's lives. And so this call takes place every couple of weeks, and we're here to share with all of you some of the latest information, but also to answer your questions, because we know sometimes you might want someone else to hear the answer. So here we are. So don't be afraid to send us a question, even maybe a praise report or something you want to share with everybody. And David and I will do our very best to answer your questions this evening. So David, how about it?
Yes, let's get started. We already have a question in here. It says, how long does it take for you to see results with Cardio Miracle?
Well, I'll answer that. And that depends upon number one, the situation that you might be having in your body, might be your age, and also your level of nutritional deficiencies. And so a lot of times what happens is people start taking the product, and some people feel it immediately. Remember that healing is not always felt, but it's experienced. And we usually say with every year that you've had a challenge, give a nutritional product such as Cardio Miracle a month. So if you've been having something, you know, that you haven't been happy with for 22 years, give it 22 months. Now, happily, David will contest to this. He talks to people every single day. It doesn't
Yep.
take that long, does it, David?
No, we can see results as early as a month or a week, depending on where you're at in your health journey. Typically, we see people at 45 and 90 days is what we call the remodeling phase of the cells, the endothelial and the arteries. So this is where you're going to see significant leaps and bounds in the results. It's
Oh,
about 45-day cycles. Yeah.
that's fantastic. And we just encourage everybody too. You know, Dr. Judy Mikovits talks about this all the time as being a live living food. So if don't be afraid to take more. If you're finding that, you know, you might have a little slow day or something might be, you know, on your trouble vision, go ahead and take more of the product. And I would suggest there was something that just came up I want to share with everybody. And encourage everyone to do their own homework. But there was a study that I was just reading recently about proper hydration, and they're finding that people that were drinking a lot of water were still dehydrated. And as you read farther into the article, into the study, you find that without minerals, the water becomes somewhat lifeless. And so what I would suggest to everybody, if you are drinking water, just put, even if you don't want to do a whole, you know, uh, scoop of Cardi Miracle or serving size, go ahead and just sprinkle a little bit in your water, because there's so many minerals in the product that will give it an electrical charge. And there's a difference between external, extracellular dehydration and intercellular dehydration. So we want the fluid to go into the cell. So with minerals, it helps to carry that electrical charge into the cell.
Okay. Great. We got another question that popped up from Marvy Gibbs. What are the guidelines for taking a second dose late in the day, evening, empty stomach, or okay with food? Thank you.
What do you think, David?
So it kind of just depends on you and how sensitive you are to, first off, the detox or the flush of the product. Some people, it makes them urinate a little bit, and that's okay. It's a good thing. It's what you want. You want to open up the system a little bit. And then we can also go into like the B vitamins and the ginseng. Some people might have a little bit of a sensitivity, but the good thing is if you take that second dose earlier in the day, you're still going to get the benefits of 24-hour nitric oxide production, along with the vitamin E, the zinc, and the magnesium to support your sleep and relax you.
That's a great answer. Absolutely. And the other thing is because the product has magnesium in it, we do have some people that will say, when I take mine before bed, it helps me sleep sound and deep. So it just depends upon your makeup. Don't be afraid to play around with the product. But again, it's such a safe product. Remember, we don't have any caffeine, any sugar, any stimulants in it. So, like you just mentioned, the B vitamins and the ginseng sometimes give people extra energy. But yeah, just try it. It's a very, very safe product.
Okay, next question. I regularly practice intermittent fasting. When I use Cardio Miracle, does it break the fast?
No, not at all. This actually makes the autophagy, which happens the reason we fast, right? Is so that your body can clean up the terrain that we have, whether it be debris, whether it be, whatever's going on in our bloodstream. So fasting is meant to clean up our cellular terrain. So we're finding that with autophagy, what happens when it gobbles up all the waste in your body, that when you use the Cardio Miracle in a fast, it does not break the fast. It just encourages the reason and the effects why you're using the why you're actually doing the fast.
Yes, exactly. That's great. It definitely makes a big difference when it's under the caloric intake. So we're way below that at 20 calories and less than a gram of sugar. So you could actually take probably 2 servings and still be okay with an intermittent fasting. And it might help you along with those hunger pains when you kind of hit those paces that you need to go through.
That's right. And you said something interesting. You said, I want to make sure everybody clarify that as far as sugar goes. So David, we
Yes.
don't have actually sugar in the product, but it
Right.
does come from the fruits and the different
Correct.
aspects of that. And then we do have the monk fruit.
Yes. Both organic stevia and monk fruit to help kind of sweeten it. And yeah, it's just extracted from the fruit. So there's going to be a little bit of residual from all the strawberries and the pomegranate and the blueberry, but less than a gram for that naturally occurring is amazing.
Yes, a lot less than even an apple.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right. What else we got here? Kelly Collins, does Cardio Miracle / nitric oxide support the immune system?
Oh my goodness. Think about when, the last 4 years when we were hit with the most unusual health assault on our bodies. And we were encouraged to take zinc and quercetin and vitamin C. This product is loaded with them. In addition, we have medicinal mushrooms. We have a lot of nutrients in it, which again will help with the blood flow, with the nitric oxide encouraging nutrients, and then also to help with the immune system. So we have a lot of people that will call in or that I know personally that say, hey, I'm taking, I feel like a little bit of sniffle coming on or something's going on with my body. And they say, you know what, I just increased my Cardio Miracle and I'm feeling so much better. Remember, the body is such an amazing machine. If we just give it what it needs, the body knows exactly what to do with it. So yeah, don't be afraid to take more of it. If you find like you want your immune system to get a little bit of a boost, like I like to do a comparison between some of the over-the-counter vitamin C's and some of the over-the-counter zincs and even quercetin. Because this is a whole food nutrient, the body receives all of it and it doesn't discard any of the synthetics. So sometimes they can do marketing that says vitamin C, but maybe there's the vitamin C that is a synthetic vitamin C. So you think in your mind you're taking something that's going to be good for your immune system when in actuality, um, it might be just the opposite.
Yeah, really the synergy of the product being such a complete product and kind of supporting the entire system and strengthening the entire system is really the key here so that we can get the maximum bioavailability out of the vitamin C and the vitamin D. And that's really going to help reduce inflammation as well as kind of boost the immune system at the same time. And it's great because if you are sick and then we go back to the intermittent fasting, your body will shut off processes of immune when you eat food. So in taking our product as opposed to eating food can really help support the body in its natural processes.
Amen.
Yes. All right, we have a Julie Worley. I watched a video recently where the gentleman used Cardio Miracle as a 14-day fast. Can you tell us more about this?
Well, David, I don't know about you, but the longer that we fast, of course, the more cleanup our body does. And if
Yeah.
you're not putting any garbage into the body, wouldn't you agree that your body continues to do its work, and that's autophagy? We had one person who's a very energetic gentleman. He's a huge proponent of Cardio Miracle. He's actually one of our affiliates, but he did a 40-day fast with Cardio Miracle. And he said he felt absolutely fantastic, didn't have any dips in his blood sugars. So it's all a personal journey. I'm sure you hear a lot of those kind of answers and questions when you're working with everybody on a daily basis, right, David?
Yeah, we get the intermittent fasting question a lot. The 14-day fast is a challenging one, so it can be good to start with something like our product to assist you in a fast of that challenge or extreme severity, I guess. So it's going to
Yeah.
be a good way to support your system and kind of help you through the 14-day fast while repairing and strengthening the body.
Yes, because you know what, with the Cardio Miracle, you're not turning on the mechanisms of your digestive system. Remember that,
Hmm.
it's being absorbed the minute you put it into your mouth. Do you hear Dr. Josh Hellman talk about, swishing it in your mouth when you take it in internally, and then it's absorbed sublingually immediately, and then it goes down your trachea into in your stomach and into your small and large intestine, and it's absorbed that way. Here's something else that's really fun I want everybody to think about. The more that we are eating toxins, chemicals, and we can't avoid them, I hate to break that news to everybody, glyphosate is in almost everything. But we were born with these tiny little alveoli in our colon and our intestine, and they are little tiny God-made antennas. And when those go away, when we have leaky gut, or if we have a situation where we don't have any good microbes in our stomach and in our intestine and our colon, what happens is our messaging and our gut instinct is decreased. So that's such an amazing system that our Father built into our body, that it does those beautiful things. And when we're taking food, some foods that are loaded with the glyphosate, the toxins, chemicals, and so on, they diminish that ability of those little antennas to communicate with us. And so I believe when you take the Cardio Miracle on a daily basis and then do a fast, and you're doing a fast from time to time, I think that encourages, from what we're hearing and what we're seeing, and makes good sense in theory, that it's encouraging those little alveoli to come back to life.
Great, great. All right, we got a couple more questions in here. Mark wants to know, I've taken many kinds of blood pressure medication and nothing seems to help. Could Cardio Miracle help lower my blood pressure? Thank you.
Well, we want to say one thing, as we say all the time, is that we don't treat, cure, diagnose. We just give the body what it needs on a daily basis, and the body has the ability to put it to work exactly where our body's needs are. And I just want to
Mhm.
share with you my personal story. You've all heard it, David, and the rest of everybody, but we were at an event. Golly, it's almost 3.5 years ago now. And I had no idea. I thought I just caused high blood pressure. I didn't think I had high blood pressure. And I started feeling really funky. My head felt really weird and I didn't feel very well. And I went up and talked to John Hewlett. That was the first time I met he and the team. And I said, does this product help with high blood pressure? And of course, they said just exactly what I said before. And that said, we've had many people that have had success with it. We don't treat, cure, diagnose, but the body knows exactly what to do with it. And the effects of nitric oxide. And I said, okay, I'm on probably 86 different nutrients, but let's go ahead and give it a try. And I doubled up. I did 6 scoops the first day, and that's where the scoops are a little bit bigger. I did 6 the second day. I did 6 the third day. The fourth day, I went down to 4 scoops, and that's kind of where I live these days. But to start off with, my blood pressure is 210/114. After 3 days of using the Cardio Miracle 6 times a day, my blood pressure started to come down. And by the 4th day, it was manageable. And so 3.5 years later, I'm excited to report to you my blood pressure is controlled. My body is keeping homeostasis. And like I said, I listen to my body. I do 4 some days, 2 others, but most of the time stick to 4. I think it has to do with, your level of activity. And remember that blood pressure is measured by the force of the blood in the veins and arteries, and then it's measured at a relaxing state. So we want the bottom level, the bottom number, not to be, of course, over 100. We want it to be way less than that, but that's your resting diastolic. So go ahead and try that, but that's the beauty of nitric oxide, because nitric oxide goes in and opens up the capillary beds, so it doesn't have to pound the blood so hard throughout the veins and arteries. So go ahead and try it. Don't be afraid to take more. But at the same time, there was a study done some time ago that if a person is dehydrated, and most people, they're estimated now 92% of people that walk around are dehydrated. So go ahead and increase your water intake, add the Cardio Miracle to it, and just don't be afraid to take more.
That's a great answer. Yeah, and it also kind of goes back to my first answer about the remodeling phase. Those 45-day cycles, we see big leaps and bounds at 45 and 90 days with regulation of blood pressure through the improved production of nitric oxide. So yes, it can be amazing and it can help tremendously. We have another question here. Dwayne Bennett, can you tell me if Cardio Miracle can help with seizures? I have a good friend and his adult son that have these. I told him about Cardio Miracle and I said I would ask.
Well, again, not treating, diagnosing, and so on. But what we know is that the brain is a magnificent machine. And you'll hear Dr. Avery Jackson talk about the importance of taking nitric oxide to increase the blood flow to the brain, and how it crosses the blood-brain barrier, opens up the capillary beds, increasing the blood flow. There's no guarantee, but if it were me, I would definitely take the Cardio Miracle. Don't be afraid to take a little bit more and take it consecutively. I think consistency is the key. Wouldn't you agree, David?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely be consistent on it. You definitely want to feed the brain while detoxing the liver so we can support the rebuilding of the entire nervous system as well. Because nitric oxide is the signaling molecule in the cardiovascular system. So when the body wants to produce more nitric oxide through proper nutrition, it's going to support the pathways that do. So, and that's the nervous system pathways within the brain and throughout the entire system.
Great answer.
All right. We got another question from Edward. What do you say to a friend when he says Cardio Miracle doesn't have any vitamins as his over-the-counter vitamins has, so he doesn't want to waste his money?
Well, David, I don't know about you, but that could not be farther from the truth. If you look at the label alone, you will see the vitamins and the minerals that are in the product, over 58 ingredients and over
Mhm,
700 nutrients.
mhm.
So also, I want to remind everybody, when it's like comparing, apples to something that's even unrecognizable, because and I encourage everyone to do their own homework on whole food nutrition versus synthetic. If we walk into Walmart or one of the other chains out there and we pick a product off the shelf and it says vitamin C, 5,000 milligrams. If it's synthetic, the way that your body recognizes it, it actually doesn't recognize it. So when you put something into your body, and if it's synthetic, it's like us walking into the door of our next door neighbor and they don't know us, they're not going to open up the door and allow us in. That's what happens with synthetic nutrients. And then you can have a high milligram or microgram product, but it's not going to be effective because it's not in the right form that the body can use it. So what I did right away when I started to look at, well, the product is so loaded with wonderful nutrients. And I took all my products that I was currently taking, put it on the table, and did a cross comparison of everything I was taking. And actually, to this date, I take the Cardio Miracle product, I take an omega oil product, I take a collagen protein product, and that's it. So there's so much in this product, and in a whole food, your body utilizes every single bit of it. So maybe you have 50 milligrams of, let's say, a B vitamin, and then you have 5,000 milligrams over here of a synthetic. It's much better to take this that is a whole food.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to mention, we are a drink, so we have full bioavailability and what we call dual pathway synergy. So as soon as you drink it, your body starts to turn itself on. And then through the sublingual pathways, it's going to start the process of feeding your body, as well as the gut pathways. So it can be very supportive of the system.
Absolutely. That's a great, great addition to the question.
All right. It looks like we just had one pop up. What what would the product work the same if you just took a scoop and followed it with water?
Well, I don't know about you, David, but it's powdery, right? And it's
Yeah.
choke. It would make me cough. I would say if I tried it that way. It's always, I think it's easier to mix it in water. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely is. When you put a dry powder in your mouth, it will coat your entire mouth. I mean, you can definitely do it and it will still be the same effectiveness. You just might have a little more trouble getting it down.
Correct. Correct.
All right. Here's another question. What is the best time of day to drink Cardio Miracle?
Well, David, I don't know about you, but I don't think there's a bad time or a wrong time. But like we said in the beginning of the call this evening, that it just depends upon your body. You know, some people are really sensitive to B vitamins, and maybe if they take it late at night, you know, maybe they're awake a little bit longer. Other people say they take Cardi Miracle at night before they go to bed and they feel like it helps them sleep better.
Yeah.
So I just think it depends. You know, the only thing we do say is that please don't take it with protein. Not
Yeah.
that it's a bad thing, but you won't, your nitric oxide and protein fight for the same space. So you're convoluting the effects of the nitric oxide. So if you can
Yeah.
take a half hour, other than your coffee or your protein, before and after, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. So with me and my personal story, I just kind of got in the routine of drinking it first thing in the morning. And as I continue my day, I do it as like a midday kind of wake me up and pick me up and go. And that's kind of the process that I found. But you can definitely play with it and see what works best for your body. There's also diabetics, they get benefits of drinking the product after a meal. So there are different use cases for the product because it is such a complete, comprehensive product for the entire system.
That's great. Thank you, David.
All right. Anybody want me to ask any more questions?
Okay. Well, I just want to add a couple things. Cardio Miracle is the most comprehensive nutrient delivery system that I have found. In addition to that, I think the longer that we're on it, the more that our body is seeing more and more positive responses. So if you might be thinking, you know, maybe I'm not getting the responses that I need, remember that your body does a lot of repair. And what I usually tell everybody, from 1 to 10, list all the things that you are having maybe health challenges with, and do a weekly health inventory checklist. So let's say, because we have gotten to the point in our country, I believe, that we go through life at a million miles an hour and we don't pay attention to really how we're feeling. And if we're quiet for a minute, we're on our phone, we have a television going on, we're talking to somebody, there's so much activity around us that we quiet down our body sensors. And we might not see some of the positive effects of the product working immediately or long term. So I just want to encourage everybody, listen to your body after you're taking it for a while and see what kind of amazing responses you're getting.
All right, great. So we do have another question from Roseanne Neff. Can Cardio Miracle lower LDL cholesterol? So I actually have great personal experience with cholesterol. I had a 420 triglyceride and a 250 cholesterol score, and my LDL was elevated as well. I believe I haven't looked this one up specifically, but I believe it was in the 160s. And my
Wow.
triglycerides are now down to a 149. My
Woo-hoo!
cholesterol is at a 160, and I believe my LDL is at around a 120. Now, I do have genetic cholesterol. I'm very healthy. I don't put much in my diet anymore. But the Cardio Miracle is the absolute only thing that I did, and I was able to get those scores. So it was pretty amazing. Yeah, it can definitely help with all sorts of proteins within the system, as well as anything that might be attacking spike proteins of the endothelial lining as well, while reducing the inflammation around the heart.
That's fantastic. Congratulations, David. I keep forgetting you had
Yes,
such an amazing story.
yes. All right. Sandy Hayes, please talk about the CAC score in Cardio Miracle. I had a high score after being on Cardio Miracle for 5 years. I am a carnivore for the last year and keto for 5 years. Coronary artery calcium scan. So it's definitely, you want to start out, Lisa?
Oh, go ahead, David.
Oh, so I actually used to have calcium buildup on my heart as well. And, that's just hardening of the arteries, hardening of the heart. Now, Cardio Miracle is especially good at going in and remodeling those veins and those arteries to soften them up, make them more pliable, more reactive, as well as kind of put a Teflon coating on them so that you can detox those proteins. Yes.
That's a great answer. The other thing we have to be aware of is that inflammation, many doctors will tell you inflammation is the reason that we have increased calcification in the body. That's one of the body's responses to inflammation. So if we have raging inflammation in our body, whether it's stress, whether it's the foods that we eat, whether it's the toxins and chemicals in our environment, whatever it is, my gracious, everything in the Cardio Miracle is geared to help with inflammation. So I would be very encouraged if I were being introduced to the product the very first time and I had any of the issues that you just described. So again, don't be afraid of taking more. Make sure that you're well hydrated. I think that's also a secret and a ticket. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you the last part of my personal story. The reason I found Cardio Miracle was because of supraventricular tachycardias that were putting me into 220 beats a minute, and they would have to stop my heart in the hospital. And I do believe that this was part of the calcium buildup, the hardening of the arteries with the elevated cholesterol. And I was able to like instantly regulate that within about 5 minutes the first time I ever drank a serving of Cardio Miracle. And it absolutely regulated my heart, and it's been about 5 years now, and I haven't had a tachycardia event that has sent me to the hospital since. I've stayed consistent on this product. So it's been amazing, and it's been a really great product. And anybody can get use out of this product, no matter where you're at in your journey, because it's really going to assist with supporting every organ in your body that's attached to blood vessels. If you think about that, that's literally everything: blood, hair, skin, kidneys, our lungs. Talk to people who get results with being able to breathe better at night. So there's many, many use cases for this product. So just give it a shot because of the comprehensiveness, the dual bioavailability, and the whole food sourcing. It's what your body wants and needs.
Amen. Preach it, brother. I think it's encouraging too, what he was just speaking of. And that is, again, your personal journey with the product is going to be different probably than somebody else's, but just pay attention to it. And of course, we don't make any medical claims whatsoever, but you can't ignore somebody's personal journey. So congratulations, David.
Thank you so much. All right. Does Cardio Miracle help you sleep better?
I think we talked about that in the beginning with the additional
Yeah.
magnesium. But also B vitamins have an amazing effect on the body. So in natural medicine, we say if you are having anxiety, maybe you feel a little blue, whatever that might be, to increase your B vitamins. But life starts and ends in the blood, right? And if we can increase blood flow and your body doesn't have to work so hard, doesn't even mean if you're laying down or not. I think the great and beautiful combination of everything that is in the product is going to help with those issues that we just talked about. We have some people, again, that take it right before they go to bed, and they're finding that it helps them get to that deep REM sleep, and they awaken in the morning refreshed. So it's not like taking a melatonin or something else to help you sleep, but it
Mhm.
does activate those sleep receptors in the body.
Used to also take melatonin too, and I was able to stop that because I'm able to get a more restful sleep now. And I
And you
have
don't get
combat
groggy.
PTSD, so I'm a really light sleeper. So it's really made a huge difference naturally. I know they consider melatonin a vitamin, but it's really not best for certain males and their hormonal systems. So finding a more natural way with whole foods is definitely the best way to go.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Yeah. All right. So somebody asks, what are the kale and spinach? Why are they not organic in our product? And it's really just a matter of extraction processing, and they actually are organic, but we're not allowed to list that because of the way that we extract them. Now, we do extract them safely under 104-degree light, so we don't destroy any of the nutritional properties of the product. So you can feel assured in that.
That's great. Thank you, David. Any other questions?
Yeah, let's just do this last one. Have you heard of any cases of Cardio Miracle causing a metallic taste in people's mouths? So yes, I do actually believe that this is from the glutathione, and I've noticed, or I believe that the people that need a little bit more glutathione tend to taste that little bit of an aftertaste. It's kind of a sulfury metal taste, but it's because we use whole foods, natural ingredients. So you're gonna get a little bit of a natural taste that may vary a little bit too.
You're absolutely right. We don't put all the different flavorings,
Hmm.
synthetic artificial flavorings in our products, so they're all natural. And so that can sometimes leave that taste in your mouth. But vanilla, along with the citrus, it is
Hmm.
absolutely delicious. If you're listening for the very first time and somebody invited you to this call, please don't hesitate to try it. We also have a money back guarantee. And we also, by the way, if you have a health savings program, we do have that available. Cardi Miracle is an approved product for that. So I want to encourage everyone too. If you're thinking, hey, I have to really look at my pennies, please be assured that, we've gone to the nth degree of making sure that this can become affordable to everybody.
Yeah. And if you're, yeah, no, it's a great product. It's very comprehensive. If you were to break up all the individual ingredients and take them standalone, it would probably cost you about $400 a month. But we
Isn't
feel
that
again, everything just works better together.
That's right.
Hmm.
Well, this is great. Do we have any more questions, David?
Um, no, I think that's it. Unless
Okay.
anybody pops up real quick.
Well, David, you're amazing. You've been with the company for a long time. If you have any questions, you're going to be able to get to David throughout the day.
Yep.
And you're going to be able to see him from time to time at these amazing events that we're doing across the country.
Mhm.
We do have a clinical study that's going to be coming up and released soon. And we have a lot of other exciting things that are going on with Cardio Miracle. So stay tuned. And the email blasts that go out, they're so full of information, and our doctors that have already joined our team, they are full of knowledge and encouragement, and you're going to feel so good about taking the product once you continue to hear from them. So God bless everybody. Have a wonderful evening and have a Cardi Miracle day.
Thanks, guys. It was
Thank
great.
you, everybody. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Lisa.